Coach, tell us about Arkansas.
Arkansas is extremely quick and athletic. Their pressure is, we've seen some presses obviously, but I think we haven't seen anything like this. They just keep coming at you. It's not a press that takes a break. It's not a press that stops once you get into the to the front court, and they keep bringing aggressive pressure. So they'll run at the ball. I mean, they'll just leave their man and attack the ball. So if we're not good with the dribble, and if we're not basically being on the drive and looking for the drive and kick, looking for the straight line drive, that'll play right into their hands. They can do a lot of things. They can take a lot of chances because they have such a good inside player, shot blocking presence, length presence, in Daniel Gafford. And they have other players, Reggie Chaney, people like that are really quick and aggressive and tough. Chaney might be one of the better defenders in our league. So to me, there's not many weaknesses there. I mean, there's not many things you look at and say, okay, we can get away with this. It's another one of these games where the margin for error is going to be extremely low. We can't go into an environment like that and give up live ball turnovers the way that we have. And at the same time, we can't come down and fall into some type of trap of trying to create offense that's not there because there's too much length, there's too much physicality. They shoot the ball extremely well. Isaiah Joe is one of the better shooters, one of the better pure shooters we will have seen anywhere. Certainly one of the best in our league. And I got a lot of respect for Mike Anderson. I've been coaching against him since I was at Marquette and he was at UAB, and haven't gone against him in a while, but I know what level of intensity, what level of stick-to-itiveness, and most importantly, they're one of those teams when you talk about you got to play harder longer, they are the epitome of that. They play hard for a very long time.
Have you been in this arena? Have you coached in this arena?
No, never have. Another arena that I've never coached in, so no.
What's the availability of Jordan Harrison? Is Rayshon fine?
Rayshon is better. Fine, I wouldn't go with yet, but better. I don't anticipate Jordan Harris tomorrow, so we'll hopefully that'll keep getting better. There's no way to really. We're definitely treating him for the concussion symptoms, and I think that's more than saying he's got a concussion. It's really treating him for the symptoms that shows because he is improving, and so we'll just kind of wait and see as we go through that part of it.
Something up with Ty Fagan as well. He didn't play the other day.
Yeah, he was injured. He hurt his Achilles the other day in the game. And I mean, think about that. I mean, the three injuries. We were fortunate to keep Nick, but he was banged up in that. Tried a little bit Thursday, tried a little bit Friday, but he couldn't do as much. We were really hoping for a game time, be better, that morning on Saturday, and he wasn't. So we didn't even risk it. But we'll see today. I think he's better, but as far as availability, I'm not sure yet.
That was a scary injury to take a chance with, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not, this is where the trainers and doctors come in. Mm-hmm. I just, our whole thing, not my whole thing with any of those type of things would be even when you're injured, there's always something, we got to keep them engaged, right? I mean, it's, we've had a lot of chair shooting over the years with guys because they might be in a boot, right? Might be coming off a lower body injury, but they can still work on their form and technique. I think the most important thing, you never let somebody feel like they're off to the side, right? I don't want a player feeling that way. I don't coach that way. And you want them engaged as much as they can possibly be, because when they come back, you're trying to shorten up that window of what it's going to take for them to get back in the game, knowing that there is some. But that's why we just try to really have we just had a meeting a little bit ago about it. That day-to-day, where we at, where do we project it? What can we do today to help them be better? Not only medically, but mentally.
Coach, you mentioned dealing with success is something this team has struggled with this year. Did you see anything?
I haven't mentioned it lately.
That's what I'm saying. Did you see anything leading up to the Texas game that you think you can carry forward?
Oh, I think they played really well in that game. I mean, it's that game was, that was a stat sheet eye popper, right? And the offensive skill, but also the 26 turnovers, right? I mean, it's. There were a lot of things that you wouldn't put in the same stat sheet and see a win with, but that's what you have to do. You have to be able to find a way to win. And the most important thing for us right now is to make sure that we're correcting the biggest mistakes. Is we don't attack the press like that. I mean, we don't run up and run to the corners. And again, some of the press offense was without Rayshon. And it's we've had some tough endings when he's not there. I mean, he is a really, really good passer, really good receiver, a good decision maker, good free throw shooter. And he brings a stabilizing presence, along with Nick. So it really hurts when you lose a guy like that. But we're not running up into the corner and allowing ourselves to be trapped. We don't ever practice that. But sometimes the pressure of the game makes that happen. So, there's no room for us to look at it and say, it's a great feeling. And I didn't look at it at all like it was a relief. I think they absolutely earned the victory. wanted to win, put a lot into it, like they have every game, and they were rewarded with it because we played consistently better longer. Not great, but better longer. And there's no reason for anybody in here right now when you're in this league to rest on anything. We got to get better with our press offense. We've got to get better with our defense, certainly. We got to get better with our being up into the ball. We got to get better with our communication on screening. They caught us sometimes coming out of timeouts where it was not as complex a play as it was just poor communication together. And we got to keep building on what we're doing well.
We talk
Just
about
make sure we're cutting and doing those type of things.
We talk about playing better, longer, and carrying over success. How much of that is, speaks to how much this team has matured from the start of the season until now?
Well, it's all part of the process. And again, there's the experience of the games, there's the experience of what you go through, but it's much more about what you start to understand, right? And because we have, no matter what, in this program, everybody's new to it. I've said that 100 times, right? I mean, so the experience of playing together is not that's never gonna be an overriding factor for us. The understanding of what you go through in the games, what the game is giving you, what you have to stay committed to, what you have to get away from, those are the things that you want to continue to work on constantly. And that's where maturity comes from. There's a natural level of maturity that comes because you get older, you play longer, you go through more games. But that real time maturity is how you understand the game better, how you understand decision making better, and how you don't try to do things that aren't there. And that's the part where we've had some lack of maturity. And sometimes it's been errors of omission, sometimes it's been errors of commission, right? Both can get you, right? And you can get paused and you can freeze a little bit, or you can try to do too much. Doesn't mean that you're selfish or not trying to win. It just means that your decision-making mode is not where it needs to be. And that's where the understanding of the game has got to continue to improve for us.
Going forward this season, is there any fear that you have to shoot as well as you did versus Texas?
We don't think like that. No, I mean, I don't ever think in those terms. Those are all hypotheticals. Just like I never overreacted to 1 for 20 or 4 threes and not overreacting. Now we're going to shoot every day. I mean, when you do something and you make it part of who you are every day, you just coach the technique and the shots and those type of things. I don't deal in terms of pressure like that, and I'm certainly not going to bring it to them that way.
Is Tyree, obviously his plus minus is really good when his threes are going down.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he in terms of the other stuff, so you're confident to put him out there even if it's not?
Well, he's not unlike a lot of the guards. He's got to defend better, right? That's a bigger thing. And the on-ball defense of our guards has got to improve, and he's right there. And I thought the other day, now first and foremost, inch for inch, pound for pound, day by day, he's as hard a worker as we have here. I mean, there is no doubt about that. I mean, there's not, he might have some bad moments in practice or not so good, and he get down on himself, but every day he brings a high level of work, right? So it's not about that. It's more about, the biggest thing for him is getting lost in the game offensively, not seeking, hunting, looking, but playing, right? Playing, not predetermining. But defensively, he's got to get better on the ball. He's got to be more engaged and active off the ball. And like all of them, become a better communicator. So that's the biggest thing. Sometimes the screening, sometimes the on-ball defense, those type of things. And when he's moving freely and when he's moving the ball at a really high rate, and then the ball's coming back, when he starts putting too much pressure on himself to make shots is when it affects him most and us second. And that's what we don't need. He's not just a one-trick guy, right? I mean, he's a very good shooter. We need him to be a playmaker, a scorer, a decision maker. A guy, like I said, it sounds kind of loose, but it's really the truth. Get lost in the game, right? And that's where the constant movement, the spacing, the cutting, all those things help you do that. And that's what's taken a while for us to understand. I've said this so many times, but the commitment to the spacing, the commitment to how far back you have to be, the commitment to the corner, not 5 feet away from the corner. The cutting out of a slot, not waiting for a pass. Making the pass one dribble early, not one dribble late. All those things become things that over a period of time you just kind of grow into, and he's no different than anybody else with that.
Regarding turnovers with Rayshawn and then maybe the bigs, what are the issues?
Too much dribbling. In Ray's case, trying to make plays, if you look at Ray the last 2 games, and this is exactly what we've shown him, what I did the other night at LSU is went through all his shots in the league with him. And there were a couple key components. It was footwork, and it was moving without the ball. It was footwork, and it was moving without the ball, right? So now, let's move without the ball even better. Let's stay locked into our footwork and watch what happens. And all of a sudden with LSU, it started to get better because he was moving better without the ball. He was cutting better without the ball. And Nick and Ray are really in the same position. I know I'm saying this, I said this the other day, but number one key offensively for us right now is their movement, because they're the tougher matchups. They're the unique matchups. So the more they move without the ball, the more they move the ball. And they're all willing passers. It's not that, but it's more the movement without the ball. It's not natural to be 7 foot and ask you to move the way we're asking you to move. It's not natural to be in Ray's case, but that's what the game is. And that's, if you want to have a future in it, you've got to be able to do that too. So that's the biggest thing. When Ray starts trying to make a play predetermined, and when Ray wants to hold it too long because he thinks he sees an opening, rather than trust the next pass and the fact that he's probably going to get it maybe another pass or 2 passes away, it's just reading the game quicker, right? Giving it up quicker, not looking, because again, people scout in this league, and he's one of the best players, obviously, right? So, and on our team. So they know if he's going to go into a certain move. They know if he's going to do this. And it becomes the quicker you give it up, the lower you stay, the more you move away, now all of a sudden you're playing in space. And the more we can get a guy like Ray, or I could say that about anybody else, to understand that the space is the key, okay? No matter how they're guarding us, the space is the key. Everything good happens from that. Now, you may not score it, but we will, and all of a sudden it comes back to you. And that's how we have to continue to coach these guys.
You said he was fine. Does that mean he's going to be a go tomorrow night, Ray?
Well, what did I say? Did I say I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. He was better, right? He was better, put it that way. I don't anticipate that he's not, but we're not. We weren't in a full mode yesterday.
Game time call then on
maybe. I would expect he's going to play, but I would hope tomorrow. We had my mother's funeral yesterday, so we didn't do much, and we didn't really anything in the sense of live. But we did more in the sense of walking through film, Arkansas, stuff like that. So it was not where it was a challenging physical day or anything like that. So I hold that back.
And that's a shoulder as it continues to continue.
Yeah. But I don't anticipate. I mean, we're hopeful, right? We're hopeful that it's as close to 100% as he can be. Just too early to really totally know.
Any other questions for Coach?
All righty. Thank you, guys.